guys? It's the Farooqi family back with another Built Different stream. And today we got a couple of topics, starting with the newest Marvel movie to come out, and it's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It is the first movie of Phase 5 of Marvel, as we finished Phase 4 with Black Panther 2. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say that we have pretty divisive thoughts on the movie, alongside a lot of critics. So I'll go first. I'll give my review first of the film. I thought Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania was honestly messy. It's damn near disastrous of a movie. It looks like the poorest green screen that you've seen in the latest movie, especially coming off things like Avatar. Unacceptable CGI, unacceptable jokes. Everything is just boring. Pacing horrible. Oh my god! It's just even thinking about it is pissing me off a little bit. But I gotta say, it was very disappointing to start off Phase 5 that way, especially given it was supposed to be the introduction of Kang. I actually thought they almost did Kang a disservice. He was the best part of the movie, but even then, I felt like he's not nearly as intimidating as he could have been. So there's a lot of problems with the movie that can go on for on and on. But my overall score right now, I officially gave it a 2 out of 5 when the embargo broke, but honestly, I'm leaning on moving it down to a 1.5 after sitting with it. So I'm finally thinking a 1.5 movie. In my opinion, it's one of the worst MCU movies, and it's not the worst because of sheer quality. It's the worst because Marvel should know better by now with their audiences, and they're really just treating it like legitimately fast food. It's coming so quickly and it's always so bad. So Zion, I wanna go with you next. What did you think about Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Quality-wise, also, I think you can't really discount how poor quality this film looked because, like you said, this is the start of Phase 5, so the MCU should have put a slightly more importance into this, or at least have some better quality assurance when you're releasing this product to showcase, all right, this is the next phase, this is the next big villain for the next era of the MCU. But like you said, just a lot of issues, not only in pacing, but the script was very, very weak. There was almost zero substance in the movie, actual substance. I don't know if he used the volume or whatever. Green screen technology felt so poorly done, where the depth of field and the perspective was so off, where it was so clearly that they were in a room and with the screen behind them. So it just looked really bad, which is surprising actually, because you don't really see that lack of quality in Marvel films. I know you can't compare it to the best of the best, but at least it's somewhat decent, where it's mid-tier. But this was they did not care at all. Kind of like Thor: Love and Thunder, some of the scenes of the volume will look really poor, where it's Thor is clearly not there, So this had a lot of moments of that. And I think performance-wise, I think all of them were kind of just phoning it in, felt like. I don't know if that was because of the script or because there wasn't really much they can go off of. I think you made a very good point about Kang, because though, like you said, he was the best. Jonathan Majors, he was the best part of the movie. They did do him a disservice by putting him up against Ant-Man, and I don't know if we can get into spoilers or not, but they disrespect him. Yeah, they disrespect him clearly with he got basically defeated by ants, and this is supposed to be the big villain. You're supposed to give him the reverence you kind of give Thanos, where he's kind of untouchable until you have the entire group come together to try to face him. But they built him up well in the film, but then it ended so poorly, kind of on a joke, with all the ants coming in and kind of beating him. I think the one good scene was when he was beating the hell out of Ant-Man in the end. I think that was okay, you're actually showing his strength a little bit. But even then, you have kind of the comedic relief character that's Ant-Man facing up against the villain of the next phase, and then you beat this iteration of him. It felt kind of disrespectful to the character and how they're trying to build him up into something. So I didn't appreciate that much either. So it really was just a miss on almost every level, aside from, okay, maybe now in the next iteration or what the show of Kang going forward will be better, because that's the only thing to look forward to.
Yeah, when I tweeted, I said that I felt like a Disney Plus special, and it feels like that in many levels, where comparatively it looks closer to your Moon Knights, to your She-Hulks. It's on that level of production quality where it's made for TV when you release it in cinema. So I feel like it was a big disservice to just what you were trying to do with that character. Fatma, what about you? What are your thoughts on this movie?
It was really bad. The humor was so predictable. Like they set up the joke all the time. The humor didn't land either. It was very humorous, but at the same time, if you're going to establish Kang as like the with like capital THE, villain, it just falls really flat on all levels. It was the only good thing was Major's performance. He was really, really, really good, despite being given such a bad, at least dialogue. The dialogue that we did see. Maybe Michelle Pfeiffer tried her best, but obviously with the comedic element that was there, she could only do so much until it became also a joke in and of itself. But she was clearly she was trying to give a depth to this film that it didn't end up having. What's his name? Michael Douglas, is it?
Yeah.
Michael Douglas also was trying his best too, but again, because of the nature of the film, it just felt like off. I don't know. It was quite disappointing, especially because, we finished on Black Panther, which was quite interesting to see where the characters are going to go, how the baton was going to be handed on and stuff like that. And it was interesting to see the setup, but it almost felt like a trailer for what is promised to come. But something about it was just disjointed, really. MODOK was absolutely I don't even know where that came from, but it almost felt like what was the film? Shark Boy
and Lava Girl.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl-esque. The comparisons that I've seen on Twitter are very apt in my opinion, and it felt almost like
what's even sadder is that if you, at least with Shark Boy and Lava Girl, you could say this movie came out in the early 2000s, so you can almost forgive it. The fact that a 2023 movie looks like Shark Boy and Lava Girl CGI when the movie was 20 years old says a lot, about how fast they pumped it out.
Yeah. I mean, it was, there's some good stuff about it, but it just felt after No Way Home, and I guess No Way Home has its faults, but there's something there.
What I think, and I'll switch to a quick business perspective before we go to the comments. Bob Iger, who is now CEO of Disney, he's taken over. He actually made a point about Star Wars and Marvel just last week, and he said that, you know what, we have to pump the brakes a little bit because we've been putting out Marvel and Star Wars products with too much frequency, especially Marvel. So then Kevin Feige came out with a statement saying that we're not going to release more than 1 to 2 Disney Plus series at a time. Which you think about, in 2022, we got 4 Disney Plus series, and they all got progressively worse as they came out.
She-Hulk was
unwatchable.
We got 6 actually. There was a lot.
Yeah, and it got worse and worse as the time went on, and then
Marvel 4.
We had just for Disney Plus. You got Moon Knight, you had Miss Marvel,
Loki, Miss Marvel, WandaVision, She-Hulk, What If?
What If, yeah. It's a lot of products.
Yeah. That's 7 then.
Yeah, and so now they want to reduce to 2, including their movies, no more three MCU movies per year. I think they want to move it back to 1 to 2. If anything, it should be 1, let's call it what it is. And I feel the same way about DC, where it's pumping out the product too much. We should be treating it with this is a big cinematic event. You only get it once a year. Go show up for it, rather than this is a TV show you have to show for every single episode. It's really hurt Marvel in terms of quality. And it goes without saying, we don't have to get into the VFX work with how much they've been complaining about how Marvel overworks them, underpays them, and then you get products like these. So you can literally paint a picture, and you can trace why Ant-Man and the Wasp is as bad as it is, especially from a CGI perspective when you look at how much Marvel's been kind of being overworked on that end. And
as a studio, they have the likes of James Cameron.
Yeah.
In terms of VFX, why don't you didn't he set up the VFX and the studio for that?
Yeah.
And yes, it costs a lot, but you have that in your wheelhouse that a lot of other studios would kill to have.
I'm hoping.
Why not utilize the same people? I know they're probably working on the next Avatar film, and that's going to take a while. But if you've only got 1 a year, you might as well utilize.
Well, that's why I think they will now. I think that's the goal. I think I think what the CEO is saying is that what they're going to do now is that everyone that does come out, we're going to put a lot of effort into it. But I think they know they had 2 big clunkers. Let's call it what it is: Thor: Love and Thunder and Ant-Man and the Wasp. They know it was bad for them. And remember, they care about critics a lot. The critics were completely kind of destroying them. But I will say that it's just because we feel that way, some of the comments don't agree with us. So Jasper on the comments is saying that it's overhated, exactly like Thor: Love and Thunder. And it's still better than Avatar: The Way of Water. So we have some people who believe that this movie is better than Avatar: The Way of Water. Samir, I mean, do you think Avatar is worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I'm pretty sure Avatar is better, but Black Adam, there's no way.
But no one mentioned Black Adam.
I'm just saying.
And Alec jumped in saying they were drinking the ooze with some of the character designs in Quantum Realm. I mean, Zan, you can make this point. The character designs are really poor. Like, I think I was watching like a bad sci-fi like show like from like 2000s.
Were they wearing the normal generic MCU suit?
Yeah, the over
like the one that every character wears.
So, the over-designed MCU suits plus like the weird broccoli man and the ooze man and the building man. I'm like, this is not funny. This is bad.
It's all. I mean, in terms of like creativity, there is some level of creativity there, but it's definitely miles and miles better than Avatar: The Way of Water, and I think there is like
Avatar is better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course. Oh, no. I retract that. Avatar was miles and leagues and eons better than what we got with Ant-Man. And I don't want to seem like we're hating on this. We do want to love these characters and like show, the respect that they should deserve. But when you give them this, it's just a bit ridiculous. And like, I think the reason why there's such a disparity between the scores is because Marvel has built such a cult following that they could give you anything, and because there's
people on Twitter.
The nostalgia and not nostalgia, but like there's this like almost cult-like feeling towards that Marvel.
We talked about it a few months ago.
That's just like they could do no wrong.
No, we talked about it a few months ago. People are treating movies like sports teams now, where it's like you have to ride or die for your team. Like Marvel is not a team. Like people treat it like a sports team, where it's like no matter what it is, we have to be there and support. And listen, we saw some people on Twitter who are like just completely shilling for this movie. I'm like, I don't know what you're seeing, but Umar, I don't know if you're there, but I want to ask what your opinion is of MODOK / Daryl. What do you think of this guy?
Daryl?
Or Darren?
I think it's stupid as hell.
What do you think about Darren / MODOK?
You told me it was Daryl.
What is it?
Which goes to show how bad it is, by the way, because we don't even know whether it's Daryl or Darren.
Remember, there's this one scene in the movie where they're like, Daryl / Darren / MODOK are like flying, and they like the face like goes into Kang, and he's like, "Whoa!" And they're like,
"I'm not."
Yeah, is this the thing that you said? Is this the thing that was on our chat?
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. So when I saw it, I almost shot myself twice. The only reason I stopped was because it's not the greatest thing to do, but it was pretty bad.
What am I hearing? I mean, it was pretty bad. Yeah. So
but that's how bad it was.
Yeah, and MODOK. Listen, I want to spoilers before we go on to the next thing, but MODOK was defeated by someone who never fought in their life and just convinced them that you're being a bad guy. He's like, all right. And then when he's dying, he's like, "Am I an Avenger now?" That was like maybe.
I'll probably never watch this movie ever.
It was the only decent joke where he's like, "Am I an Avenger?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're an Avenger now." I'm like, "What? What am I hearing?" So. I guess MODOK is an Avenger now. And then the fake out. Zan, let's talk about the fake out. In the end, obviously, there's all rumors and leaks before the movie that Ant-Man's going to die or he's going to get something's going to happen. They give you that in this movie a little bit. They have this one-on-one between Ant-Man and Kang where Ant-Man gets trapped in the quantum realm, but Kang dies. So Ant-Man gets, the whole day that he sacrificed himself. He's stuck down there while everyone else survived. If they ended the movie that way, no matter how bad the movie was, I would have been like, okay, at least they tried something with the character. But then the fake out, like just right away, he goes back and everything as it was. Tell me about that scene. Tell me,
it just adds on to why the writing is just so bad. I feel like there's no way they couldn't have had or shot an ending where he actually did stay, and they like ran it by the testers or like the studio people. They're like, no, we can't do this. Obviously it's for kids. It has to be a nice fun movie. So. They brought him back 5 seconds later, so 0 consequences, 0 stakes. It was so cheaply done. Though obviously that end scene where Ant-Man and Kang were fighting one-on-one was the best part of the movie. If you just had the little consequence in there where Ant-Man, his sacrifice meant something, he let them all go and then he stayed back to defeat Kang. At least then I'm like, okay, maybe the movie the journey of the movie was pretty garbage, but it ended on the right note.
Yeah.
They just threw it all away in 1 second, and then it was just bad. The entire ending was just bad.
Yeah, I mean, what do we think about Bill Murray's character? I did not.
We don't.
It was there for 5 seconds. I mean.
Yeah. Question for the bros: who was worse, the actor for the kid in Black Adam or the actress for Cassie?
All right. Before Samir goes, let me tell you something. Her performance, the daughter, might have been the worst performance in the entire MCU. I'm not even joking. It was so bad. She couldn't act. It was like Donald Glover playing Simba. Like they couldn't act. She couldn't do any of the lines. There was zero emotion at all. She was just, I don't know.
It was a lot of just
I don't know what they were doing.
Say, "Oh, Dad, don't come back." You know, like that's her role. And then
The problem is the kid from Black Adam is the worst in the DC universe, so it's like it kind of matches up.
the difference is
I'm telling you, he was better than what her performance.
Yeah, but one kid they got like from the streets, like he never acted before. They got him like to give him a role, you know, like it was like a charity case. The second one, so almost like she was supposed to be something. Because remember, she was a recast. Someone else was playing the daughter in Avengers Endgame, and then said, okay, we're gonna give a recast because they thought the other girl doesn't have like the stereotypical Hollywood female face, so they kind of like gave someone else the role. And that person, in my opinion, also I agree with Zan, didn't do a good job. There was no good performance in that movie, in my opinion, except for Kang.
I think she was the worst though.
And then Alex says the ending scene proved the movie was a sacrifice to introduce Kang. There was room for both a good third Ant-Man movie and a production to introduce Kang in a cool way. I thought Loki already introduced Kang, so I think they have to do it again. And so that's me. And the post-credit.
But the thing is that they should have introduced the Kang, like the singular Kang that is like going to be the one that's going to be the threat.
Yeah, they want to hold
they didn't do that. Like, where is the single one? You know?
Yeah, but if this is a trailer just for all the Kangs,
which happened then.
Then what? Well, then this was a nothing. Then if it wasn't even introducing the Kang, you know,
they just killed like one random Kang out of the million Kangs. And the post-credit scene, for just spoiler alert, but is of kind of a not montage, just a moment where all the Kangs in the multiverse are all sitting together, and they're like, okay, we all got to work together because one of our own just died, and now we have to step into action. So it's kind of like because the one Kang died, now
also,
every single Kang
brought such a good point. It doesn't make any sense. The whole story, I thought by the end was like the other Kangs are the one that banished him, but then why do they care that he got killed after they banished him?
I think it's
if the Kangs didn't banish him, then who did? You know?
No, it was just no. They banished him. The other Kangs banished this Kang, but they were just confused for like, oh, one of us still can't die. Like that's the biggest.
It's such bad writing. Oh my god,
it is bad writing. Yeah,
because you already built him up. He's like the one antithesis Kang who's against the other Kangs or whatever. Then like he's differentiated, and now they're all just one hive mind.
You can just YouTube the end credit scene in the movie. Like nothing really happens. You know,
I'll gladly miss out.
Yeah, nothing of significance happens. All right, so that's our thoughts on Ant-Man. We can give our quick scores. I had it as a 2 out of 5, but I'm amending my score officially to 1.5 out of 5. Zion, what about you?
I'll probably agree with you, man. I'll probably put mine down to 1.5 also.
Fatima?
I put it as 2. And
there you go.
Again, I'm not a score person, so it doesn't really.
Also, is this the first time where the post-credit scene was for a TV show? Like,
yeah, it was.
Like, two post-credit scene, you know? Like, what's up with that? Not even a movie.
Yeah, not good. So,
I'm just praying that. What's the next Marvel film this year?
The Marvels.
The Flash. The Marvels?
Yeah, I think so.
I really hope it's good because I thought Miss Marvel, the TV show, was actually quite promising in terms of like delivering, you know, a female superhero.
So you didn't like Miss Marvel?
Wasn't too. No, she was nice. I liked
some of the show, not the character.
Well, I liked the show. It wasn't as bad as people. It wasn't as the worst one was She-Hulk by far.
I don't know why Shraz hated the show.
The rest of them were serviceable. On some level, they were
watched everything.
I think Miss Marvel was as a character. I don't mind her. I like her as a character. But I keep thinking about the episode where like the guy's mom, like when like that scene happened with her, like killing her. It was probably the worst scene of the last 5 years. But
come on, when there's like a fake skeleton.
I swear she's the worst villain in it. Like between Marvel and DC, anything they've ever put out in history, she's probably the worst villain of them all.
I think she was the worst villain. I like Miss Marvel as a character, but I don't like some parts of that show.
Either way, hopefully that one's better.
He's playing the scene back in his head.
The scene wasn't even half bad. Calm down.
Which scene talking about?
She was so bad.
the villain's mom was like the worst. I'm telling you. But where did he get the actor?
No, but I agree. Miss Marvel alone, just the character. She's good, and she'll probably be good with all the other.
She did a good job. The girl that
her own supporting characters on her own show is kind of bad.
Yeah, that's a good point. She's good. Her supporting characters are
bro. Give her a good cast. She's like LeBron. Give her a good cast. She'll do well.
So that's why maybe she'll lead. Everyone who's been talking about the Marvel movie is saying that she's better than Brie Larson. That she's out actually she's stealing the show in her own movie. You know. in that movie. Whatever.
Well, we'll see. So hopefully there's some hope there.
He's done. All right, so moving from Marvel to the world of DC, the Flash had a trailer, and here's a poster for you guys if you haven't seen it yet. Flash poster. This came out during the Super Bowl, so we haven't had a chance to discuss it yet. So I thought we can go around the room and talk about kind of our thoughts on the Flash. So here, I have very interesting thoughts because we've talked about the Flash so much over the last 3 years, probably on the stream in some form or fashion because it's been in development hell. I thought the trailer actually wasn't that bad. Like I appreciated like seeing a lot of like the elements of DC that I personally love. Despite the fact that yes, this was originally under Walter Hamada's vision. This movie was supposed to erase BVS and Man of Steel. Instead, this movie is just gonna close the entire DCU altogether. So, so from that and from a perspective of a fan who knows that a brand new universe is starting in a few years, I didn't mind seeing Ben Affleck and General Zod and seeing all these old DCU references.
Wow.
They're literally in Man of Steel. Like, who would have thought 10 years after Man of Steel came out, they're doing a movie where 90% of the plot takes place in the Man of Steel movie? Like, they're doing the scenes of the movie, you know? So, like, they're doing the world engine, they're fighting all that. So, fighting Zod, that's interesting to me. Despite, I know, like, it's a sour taste in the mouth because of how they kind of like kicked Henry Cavill out. And so they're revisiting a Superman movie when the Superman of that movie is officially been fired. So it's very strange in that sense. But I thought from a movie itself, it actually doesn't look that bad. So it doesn't think about it. Let's think about what you talk about Ant-Man. When you compare that, this actually looks better. Like this looks better than Ant-Man.
Don't compare the worst MCU movie ever made to
It looks better than Black Adam. So what I'm saying is, it looks decent. Okay, I'll say that. Zion, what about you?
Why did you say that? Like, okay, whatever. Just go.
The bar's on the floor. We know this. It's not going to be the
The bar's on the floor. The bar's on the floor. But he's right. Actually, compared to like the first trailer that came out and all like the behind the scenes news and stuff about it, yeah, the excitement was very, very low. And with the first trailer, it looked so actually bad. But with this second trailer, at least it was interesting. Like you said, if you just throw all the pieces out there, it feels like they're just throwing everything out there, like Zod, Supergirl, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck. It is a lot to like take in, but at least it does look interesting just on that level, just because all the characters, all the pieces that are involved.
Curiosity, it looks more interesting than 90% of DC's last.
Yeah, that's really it. Just because curiosity. Like, okay, obviously CGI. Some of the shots and some of the CGI is a little weak, which is unfortunate. But who knows how many changes, how much stuff they had to do behind the scenes. So clearly, the VFX probably isn't as good as it could have been if there was a unified vision from the beginning. But because there's so many changes, stuff like that, okay, the CGI is a little wonky, especially involving Supergirl. Some of her scenes in the trailer were kind of weak CGI-wise. But character-wise, it actually is interesting. I'm interested in Supergirl and Zod and everybody and all the characters, especially Ben Affleck. Like, I get, yeah, for Snyder fans and, like, us who love Snyder's universe and those characters, like, okay, it's the end, but like, okay, if this is the last time we get to see at least some of them, whether it's Ben Affleck or even Ezra Miller's Flash, we'll just take it as it is. And for this trailer alone, it did look interesting enough where I'm excited for this film a little bit, at least more, compared to the other trailer, the first trailer, which looked absolutely horrible.
Omar, I want to jump to you next. What did you think about the Flash trailer? Anything kind of standing out to you? And I gotta say, like, if you look at the wider DC, like Wonder Woman 1984, The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Black Adam, DC's been in a rut. This actually looks like a movie. Now, whether the movie's good or not remains to be seen, but it actually looks like, oh, it's DC doing something with big stakes again, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that, like, I've been on the wave of, like, I kept saying, like, earlier when we talked about this movie that, oh, it's just a mess. It looks bad. It looks like they're gonna, like, it looks like it's too much happening. But seeing the trailer, I think one thing we can say that does look looks kind of positive is I do feel like they're gonna thread this plot really, like, it'll be done okay. Like, it won't be as messy as I personally thought. I do think it's gonna be, like, a little bit more, like, this trailer shows you, like, there is a way to make this movie and it'll work. Like, it'll be just fine. Like, they'll be able to balance out all, like, I think there's some things that are a pleasant surprise. So, like, I think Keaton, like, I was worried about like what the hell, like how that looks, but I'm actually not that worried anymore. I feel like the scene of him, I think they're gonna go and like obviously get Supergirl like out of the government's hands or whatever. Even though the CGI looks like horrible, I do think like that scene itself might be really good. Like there might be some scenes in this one that's really, really good. I do think for the fans that really loved Man of Steel, they're gonna have just seeing like Feora and seeing Zod again. I think it's gonna be like kind of good, like compared to like what we've got like recently, like Peacemaker garbage, Suicide Squad garbage. Like most of these movies are like absolute garbage, right? So this one, let's see what happens. I think I'm a little bit more positive on it now after seeing this trailer, but I think very easily, like they can also like this is a trailer, so I'm going by the fact that it is a little bit easier to thread a plot line through a trailer rather than a 2 hour and whatever how long this movie's gonna be. What's the runtime? Did they say what the runtime is?
It hasn't completed, but I think 2.5 hours is probably realistic.
Yeah, so then that gives them enough time to actually like do the plot justice. Like if it was an hour and 45 minutes, then you can tell that it's good. They're gonna struggle to do everything. So I'm a bit more positive on it. But yeah, so I don't really have a negative kind of opinion on it anymore. But let's see what happens. I feel like they can still botch it at the end. Like I feel like the writing really matters. Like we've already seen Zod and Fiora. We saw them in Man of Steel. We saw them with like really good, like proper writing. I feel like if the writing is bad, which it doesn't look like it is, it looks like it'll be like it won't be like crazy deep or whatever. But I feel like the writing itself, it'll just be okay. Like it'll be good. It just for the plot will continue.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know.
What people are saying is that actually this movie is really about mental health. So, and which has a double meaning because Ezra Miller himself is going through like multiple mental health kind of like struggles, and apparently the plot line has to do with the Flash's mental health and how he's like managing like whatever he's managing in this movie between like going back to save his mom and whatever the case might be. We all know Flashpoint the storyline. This is kind of like a play on it, not an exact one-to-one, but it's a play on the Flashpoint storyline. So we'll see how it goes. Samir, what do you think about the Flash trailer? Any highlights for you?
I think from a plot perspective, it looks pretty good, but obviously there's major issues with CGI. At one point it just looked like the CW show CGI. At the end when all the lightning was there, you know, it looked pretty bad, and the Supergirl stuff looked CGI wise looked pretty bad. But the plot looks pretty good, and by the end it looks like that they can't really do something. They can't play it safe at the end, like everything's going to be all right, because they have to change the whole universe. So, and I don't think the suit is as bad as I did before. I think it looks better in this trailer.
It still doesn't have a neck though. It's like just a head and then a CGI bodysuit.
Yeah, but even if this is bad, I'm not going to pretend that the CW one is super good. Like everyone on Twitter is like, this is the greatest suit ever. I'm like, yeah, this is super garbage. It's the worst suit ever probably. But compared to that, it actually doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
what about compared to the original suit? What about that?
Maybe if the under part, the black part, was red in the original suit, then that would be pretty good too. They all got
The poster for the final season was just boots. The Flash was here.
The poster for the last season of The Flash was just a boot. We put the boot on. I don't have it on me. I thought I had it. I didn't.
It was just the boots like on the middle of the road.
How was that real?
The SpongeBob meme also. Just a boot. That's what they had to advertise. Like, come watch The Flash season 9. We have the gold boot. There's nothing else going for it. See, in that sense, at least we're getting a proper Flash movie.
Yeah, the posters look pretty good. The character posters. Except Michael Keaton's face is so weird in that poster.
He's making like a duck face. I'm like, what am I seeing? He's making the duck face. Also, some people point out, like, I don't know if you guys seen the movie Birdman, but like Michael Keaton, and that was about like an old.
I didn't like it.
But the movie's about like this older actor who's like used to be to something else, and now ironically he is Batman again, which is like almost like the movie.
It was a commentary on like superheroes and like the iconic level.
But the fact that he's actually playing Batman again,
Yeah,
almost
I know.
yeah. So I'm gonna before I
Also, make no mistake, I don't want people to think it wrong. I still hate Michael Keaton. I think he shouldn't be in the movie, but it's fine.
at least he's not gonna
Whatever.
stay in the movie.
Also, I'm saying it right now, Supergirl. Okay, like I don't know. We're gonna watch the movie, give her a fair shot, right? But I feel like it's gonna be bad. Okay, just from what I've seen so far, I feel it's gonna be real bad. Okay, I'm real worried about that.
I'm actually on the opposite. I'm on the opposite end of this one. Before I go to your thoughts about the
Oh no.
I'm on the opposite. I actually think she looks good as Supergirl. Like I thought she looks genuinely good in the role. We haven't seen too much of her acting outside the TV spot where she was screaming, "What did you do to Zod?" I think she can actually play this role. Like I'm actually excited. Like to the point where I liked her enough in this trailer that I was actually feeling upset that they're recasting her right away. Like, which is confirmed. It is a one and done for her. Which means the Supergirl movie that's coming out in a few years is going to be a brand new Supergirl, probably with blonde hair, probably like classic Supergirl from the comics. I actually like what they were doing.
If she does really well, you never know what.
You never know, but I kind of feel like she's not gonna be in it. But like, I don't know. For me, like this is an interesting shot to see Supergirl facing off against Zod. This is a scene from Man of Steel where originally in the original universe, Superman gives himself up to Zod, which stops the army from going to war. But clearly, you could tell in this version of the universe, since there's no Superman, and Supergirl is completely unhinged as a character, she's just going to go right into battle, which is really cool. It's like you're literally seeing like the difference of Superman not being in Man of Steel. The way Zod is just clearing everyone out is completely different because there's no codex, unless they treat Supergirl as a codex. We'll see. Like, but I'm actually interested.
I mean, what other reason do they have to like do anything?
They're probably looking for Supergirl, yeah. So it's interesting to see how I like Sasha Kaya as Supergirl. I think I'm more convinced now than I was at any of the set photos. It's very hard to tell from the set photo what's happening, but the trailer I think looks good.
You think this Supergirl, after like the government takes her and stuff like that, she'd be on Zod's side to work plan it out, you know?
Yeah,
that's what my theory is too. I was going to say that. I think the trailer does have some promising things. It was nice to see Ben Affleck being back, regardless of what the end of it is. Obviously, the end is like a given. They're all gone. There's no more any of what we had before. So it's nice just to see at least Ben Affleck back. Maybe Aquaman could also show up. You never know. And Wonder Woman as well. So it'll be a nice thing to see them show up one last time. And then, I know that the CGI is bad, and I know that they've been making this film for like 10 years now, but the CGI is usually left till the last part. And at the moment, as far as we're aware, they're still shopping multiple different endings and multiple different screenings. They've showed multiple different test screens so like, I don't think that they're hard and set with what they want to do just yet. So that's the only issue that they're having. I think that they're not 100% sure how the movie is going to end, what things they're going to take, what things they're going to keep. From the shots that do look good CGI wise, I think they're the ones that probably they don't change regardless of the timeline or the ending that they're trying to figure out. So I'm hoping that by the time that the film comes out, they do polish upon the CGI and they work on it a bit more. I mean, Black Adam, regardless of what you thought, when they released the first trailer, it was bad CGI, whereas on the second trailer, they improved, and then in the actual film, the VFX and CGI and the way Black Adam moved was quite improved on, almost Snyder-esque in the way that they did his slow motion. So I'm hoping that they take the criticism and work with it. I mean, as fans of Snyder's work and as fans of DC in general, it's sad to see that storyline being completely put on an end, but it's also like worth going to watch and checking out and seeing those characters one last time. So that's where I come from with the trailer.
I'm of the mindset that because the universe is ending, I'm more excited for The Flash. Whereas if this was supposed to be some kind of reboot where Man of Steel and BVS get erased from the timeline and now some pseudo universe is starting afterwards, I would have been like, this is not that good. But the fact that we're kind of putting it to bed and this is it, then you look at it instead of looking at it as a reset, you're looking at it, this is like the end, it's the epilogue of the DC.
Yeah, it might be better for the singular, it might be better for the movie itself, because the movie itself, it doesn't have a lot going on if like I would be less excited for this definitely if it was just the Flash movie and we're just continuing stuff and whatever. You never know what they're gonna do, but definitely because it's the end of this version of these characters or whatever, it puts more of a interest in it. But I don't think that does anything for the movie itself. The movie itself can still be pretty bad or pretty or good.
Yeah, the
whatever.
DC
It
fan
doesn't do anything for the movie itself.
Zian, as the resident Batman fan, what do you think about Ben Affleck getting a blue suit, like a blue cowl, like in this movie?
I honestly think it is pretty sick, and I'm not sure if this was a decision made because they just wanted for fun or because story-wise they're going to address something. But one thing I was considering is that if they are giving Ben Affleck like the blue suit in this thing, kind of like Neil Adams-esque, like inspired by that line of comics, does that mean in the next iteration of Batman, where like the father-son story, whatever, is he going to have a blue suit also? Because people are saying that, oh, maybe that's going to be the time where he's going to have a blue suit. Or are they showing it now as like, oh, you see what a blue suit would look like in live action, and it's fun and it's cool, but it's going to go back to the gray and black going forward. So I'm wondering if that's the reason they're showing it now, or they're just doing it just for fun because, just might as well since it's two Batmans. But I think it looks pretty cool.
Ben Affleck did say this scene, the scene on the top, is one of his favorite scenes he ever did as Batman. But Ben Affleck's pretty honest when the scene is garbage, like with Joss Whedon Justice League, he said it. So he's saying this is one of his favorite moments that he recorded. I'm sure it's going to be a moment where he talks about his own mom and kind of either convinces Barry to go back in time or tells him don't go back in time. We'll see what he does. But he says it's one of his favorite scenes, and it's officially his final scene as Batman. So it's kind of interesting. Like it's his final moment. And I remember people made the point that we should have appreciated Walter Hamada, which I don't agree with, because Walter Hamada did have the post-credit scene, which is of course removed now, where Ben Affleck sends an SOS signal to Flash and says, "Come save me. You got to save us. Like, come save me and Henry Cavill Superman." And the whole point was Walter Hamada was building towards Crisis on Infinite Earths, where the Snyder cast would have come back and they would all blended together. But we're not getting that anymore. In fact, this movie's going to end on a more clean note. In fact, to Umar's happiness, probably the current end of the movie doesn't even have Michael Keaton anymore. It's going to be when the Flash comes back to his own universe. There's no Michael Keaton or Sasha Calle Supergirl, which shows that they didn't make it back. But
good.
I don't want to get into the
good.
There's a leak element of something else that might happen instead, which also doesn't sound that great. But I don't want to spoil it on this
it's
specific
just
chat.
so wish-washy because whatever the leak.
What are you talking about? Just say it.
All right, everyone in the comments, I'm going into a leak. Could be wrong, could be whatever, but it's a leak for the Flash movie. So if you don't want to know, you can turn it off now, etc., etc. So the current leak is that George Clooney was brought back as Batman, and that when the Flash goes back to his universe, he's not going to see Ben Affleck and he's not going to see Michael Keaton, but he's going to see George Clooney standing there.
Do you understand that we went from freaking Ben Affleck to Keaton to this idiot now? It's over. Like the Batman fans are going through it, bro.
Could be anything.
People said it could be Bale too, but I think the consensus was that it was Clooney after a last test screening. But
just give Bale $300 million, tell him to come back, he'll do it.
Yeah. Either way, let's do the comments now and see what people are saying about the Flash. I'll start with Alec. He said that he thought the trailer was surprising. It clearly needs heavy work, but he's intrigued to see where it ends up going. The standout performance is going to be Sasha Calle. And I agree with Alec as well. I think Sasha is going to be the first or second best performance. I think Ezra might be the best, only because he's playing 3 different characters in this movie. So if you're playing 3 characters, if they all can feel different to each other, then I think he will be the best actor in the movie. I think everyone else is probably going to be more or less like just kind of phoning it. But Keaton was moving like Arkham Batman. Someone else said that I want to see Neil Adams blue and gray Bastard and Affleck, which I show in the photo he is. I like what I've seen so far from Andy Muschietti. This movie can't be a complete dumpster fire, but we'll see. So yeah, let's see. He said if Clooney does come back, it'll be the start of his villain origin story. I think it's already Umar's villain origin story. I can see him becoming Anakin Skywalker as we sit here, so it's all happening.
Yeah, but James Gunn already said that is not going to be.
No, James Gunn said he won't be the new Batman because someone said that. Not only is Clooney back, but Clooney will be the Batman for the new DCU. Gunn said no to the second of the 2 rumors, but he didn't say no to the first because he's in the test screenings. People that just saw Clooney already, so it's like be there, But yeah, that's where DC is
I
going.
don't understand what they're. I don't.
I think just like, and then a funny joke, like it means nothing for the universe, just like And someone said, like, isn't
It's in
Clooney
Spider-Verse.
supposed to be Keaton? I've heard now. Now this could be I could be in the wrong source on this, but they have rearranged canon. I don't know who did this is such a deep dive into like DC canon, but apparently now Michael Keaton is not George Clooney, which in the original universe, Keaton and Val Kilmer were still part of the Keaton universe. It just was a recast. Now they've separated it that Val Kilmer's Batman and Clooney's Batman are the same Batman because that's the same Robin, but Keaton in his 2 movies sits alone. I've also heard they did the same thing for Christopher Reeve, where they have disconnected Superman Returns. So officially now Brandon Routh Superman is not Christopher Reeve Superman. He's his own Superman. And Christopher Reeve is his own Superman, yeah. Why do you think that's good? Tell me.
He's the worst. Brandon Routh's the worst.
Bro, this guy
Superman Returns is the worst.
That's
Yeah.
Nah, he's not that bad. He
Wait,
wasn't that
Superman Returns is
bad.
the worst.
Yeah, the writing was bad, but if he was given better writing, he wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, of course. If you give him a good script, he could have pulled it off.
You understand? You understand if you
Also,
give
that
him a good.
Superman suit is the worst suit ever made for any.
That
film.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
it was like a maroon color. It wasn't even red.
Rings of
Yeah.
little S's all over his suit. It's kind of funny. But what do you think about his Kingdom Come suit from the Flash from the CW?
For a TV show budget, that wasn't that bad because
Exactly,
all the other ones are so bad.
As far as CW goes, that was a good suit. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
I just think at the moment the film is going through so many different like alterations and different versions that like I don't know what they've decided or what they're keeping up. Maybe they're waiting for Shazam to come out to see the reaction to that, and then after that, like they can finalize the film finally. But like I know you don't like it, it's fine, whatever. But like the point is, I don't know what it is that they're going through, but why have multiple test screenings, multiple different endings, multiple different scenarios, rumors? There's so many. Every other day, something else comes out about the Flash that just like contradicts the thing that came out the week before, and they're all like from somewhat valid sources in terms of test screenings and stuff like that. But it's just like the trailer could show only as much as they possibly could.
What I will say is, I think the movie.
So
I think
I'm just like, I genuinely don't. No one knows what's going on until they sit in the film with this.
The only reason I disagree with you is that I feel like the first 2 hours of the movie is picture locked. They're not changing the core movie. They're just changing the ending. They don't know what to do with like the universe reset. So they have lots of different versions of how the universe is reset in the end.
Yeah, but sometimes the ending has to intertwine with the rest of
No,
the
not
film.
necessarily.
So
I think they
have
just.
to, like,
I think they just want to change what the Flash does when he comes back. I'm not going to use that as an excuse for the studios for bad CGI. I think they have to clean it up. Like DC, at the minimum, DC was always known as a studio where at least you get high quality. You know, like the movie could be bad. Like even BVS, like say what you want to BVS, you could not like it, right, as a plot line, but you can't make a mistake. When you look at the movie from a film perspective, it looks amazing, and that's what DC's always been known for. Like whether you like it or not, at least it visually looks amazing. That's
Maybe
not
back in the day. Times have changed.
Yeah, but also WB is broke and they don't have enough money. I expect a lot of the movies to be bad CGI going forward. But the Flash does look really bad. It looks like that one scene of like Ben Affleck Keaton punching and like Supergirl flying in. It looked like Call of Duty. It looked like Call of Duty. You know, like.
Sorry.
It's okay. Either way, I think that's
the slow motion flying scene. Right?
Yeah, I'm talking about that scene. Yes.
I think that looked that bad. The last shot when she's flying in the ship, that was like a.
Yeah, and there's one scene where like his neck is in there and the CGI it wrong. It's very strange.
Either way, I'm probably most excited for the Flash in terms of superhero movies coming up, more than Guardians.
Thank you,
which is
Alex.
the next one, right?
Another one coming. You don't need to bless me again. It's so bad.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other order of business?
Isn't Guardians 3 coming before the Marvels?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for putting out. I knew the Marvels was in the next one. It's Guardians 3 and the Marvels.
Oh my god,
That looks terrible.
It's going to be the funniest year ever, with Guardians 3 being James Gunn's thing. And then what else is there? Like, you know, the rest of the stuff that he's doing between Shazam and, like, I know technically he's not under the helm of Shazam, but like he's going to be like, everyone's going to be bringing him up. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm just sick of it. Like,
Shazam, we'll see. Like, I don't know.
Shazam looks
In
so-
the-
All I can say is, let me retract something I said before, because when the last Ant-Man 3 trailer came out, I compared to the Shazam trailer, I said there's no way Shazam 100% be worse than Ant-Man, and Ant-Man will be better than Shazam. I thought this is a guaranteed thing after seeing both trailers. But now after seeing the movie itself, Ant-Man Quantumania, maybe Shazam will be better.
No,
I
Shazam will
can't
be better than
imagine
Batman.
I can't imagine it could be worse than Ant-Man.
I was saying, I was one sitting here.
I could easily imagine that.
No, your argument was back then was that Ant-Man, because they were saying that we want to make it serious, that it's gonna be. But I'm like, like if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's not a mongoose. Like it's like the same
bought into the
director.
propaganda, and
The
I
it
hate
hate
Strauss's
Bro.
weird like quotes.
Bro, it's the same
You
cast.
just want to
same
say that. You just want to say
Say
the
it in English.
bro.
I
It's all
thought,
the same.
listen, because I thought it was gonna be like a No Way Home thing. Obviously, not as good as No Way Home, but like you gave it a chance because just with the same writer, same director. I thought maybe all right, they could do something different. They could just go all out, but they didn't. It was worse than even the others.
Yeah, honestly, Shazam will be better, but not by a lot. It'll be just.
We'll see.
That's
It'll
fair.
be Black
2.5.
Adam.
2.5.
and
I have like
From
a
the
soft
trailers,
spot for them.
like a 2.5.
Yeah, it's a 2.5 3. It could be a 3. Or 2.5.
From the
Looks
trailers,
looks like a 2.
2.5.
Looks like
Let's
a
see how the
2.
movie goes.
You guys are so mean.
It'll be better than Black Adam. Okay.
You guys are so mean.
It'll be better than Black Adam.
It might
Obviously.
actually be worse.
Let's not go that far.
Of course, it's worth it because it's a movie. It's worth it. But
It's gonna be bad. It's fine.
My only gripe with the movie is Zachary Levi. He's just really obnoxious and grating.
So
But
much
everyone
better.
else, like they try their absolute best. Like it's like I'm gonna go in and I know the movie is about the main character. The main character is annoying, but like as an actor, but like if I go in and just focus on the rest, maybe I can trick myself into loving it.
no, my thing is just like if we felt bad for all the actors, then every movie would be good. But unfortunately,
Looks like Power.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody Ant-Man tried their best too, but look how it turned out.
everyone haven't tried their best. MODOK tried his best, but it's like no, it wasn't it.
Honestly, if somehow they canceled Shazam and said they're not making it, they're not releasing it, I'd be so happy. Like I'd be like, yo,
Why would you be happy?
Why'd you have
like
to-
really going through it right
Let
now.
it release, bro.
I
Let it
need
release.
some good news. You know what I'm saying? Like everything has been bad news for the past like 10 weeks. I need
His
something
backlog
good.
got canceled.
What?
His backlog got canceled.
That was that maybe wasn't the greatest thing, because it was like, well, maybe it was. I don't know.
Well, either way,
I know people keep saying it was bad, and like Safran came out saying it was really not releasable, but
that was
Like,
very scary. The fact that
I
they
just-
came out and said that, wow, they're
no,
like,
I just feel like you can't have someone like Brendan Fraser who's Oscar nominated, and like you have like these really big people, and then like it couldn't have been that horrendously bad, like
think-
for them to completely cancel it.
I think I've never heard even like the current leadership, James Gunn, Peter Safran, to be like, David Zaslav did the bravest move that he saved DC. Like if Batgirl released, DC as a brand would have suffered. I'm like, I don't know what it was. Like, must have been a CW movie, which is originally meant. It was never meant for theaters, meant for HBO Max. So if it was like the most CW-esque movie, then I could see them being like, we can't release this for the good of our brand. But then why not just release it on the CW?
They've released worse. It's probably not as bad.
Yeah,
as some-
yeah, that-
Maybe it wasn't even the writing; it was just the way it looked.
That
Yeah,
new,
it looked like a TV movie. Like
that
a
new
daytime
DC
show.
show is the worst thing ever.
Wait, what?
I can't
CW.
believe
Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Gotham Knights. That's the
I
worst
swear,
thing
yeah.
ever.
Why hasn't that been canceled?
That
Why
is
is
that
pumping
is
money to that? You know,
You know, the official Batman suit was just like the one mask he wears. He doesn't have a Batman suit. He wears a regular bow and tie. He wears a regular suit and tie with one Batman mask, and that's how he is Batman.
you know. Then it's good he got killed. Like, what did he expect? How is
It's
he
like a
finding
period-
time? Like,
like a
a
period
truck
It
like,
might be the worst.
let him get killed.
That would be the worst thing DC ever in the history of DC. In the history of DC, that show. Whoever released it, they have to, jail time.
You have to be relieved of their duties.
I can't sit there and like they filmed it in Glasgow. They did everything that the Batman did. Like I don't know. Like I'm obviously it's
Wait,
gone.
what are you talking about?
Batgirl.
Oh, I'm talking about the Gotham Knight show.
Oh, I don't know.
This guy thought Matt Reeves was Batman.
No. So I'm just like I can't.
I think it's for the best. Business decisions have to be made.
I don't
When's
know.
the next Snyder cultist AI video coming up?
Bro, we gotta talk about it now. There's been someone you've seen it.
Oh yeah.
AI videos.
It's so delusional.
Bro,
It's
it's an embarrassment to all of us.
We're Snyder fans. We love the movies. We love everything. Like
Who's we?
you do.
I
You love Man of
thought
Steel.
it was Samir.
Batman v Superman, like
I love
that is
it.
just a seek. Amazing films. His other
Nintendo Wii.
always amazing, brilliant stuff. But my God, what is this absolute delusions that they're going out with? I'm ready for the Twitter war that's coming my way if anyone from Twitter sees this. But oh my God, in what world?
They won't.
In what world do you think DC or Warner Brothers or Discovery or whatever merger, even if Discovery sells Warner Brothers, the main IP that anyone would ever want is the entirety of DC. So why would Zaslav sit there and be like, oh, I'll give you the rights for the Justice League to do something? But then, like, even then, how do you even like legally write the rights?
Fatma, you're jumping the plot here. We're talking about the AI video. Wow, who would look at the AI video and be like, oh, let's start negotiating? Why would that?
No, I'm talking about the logic behind it first, and I'm gonna go on to the AI video because I've been watching it and I've been restraining myself so much.
Can we all just
how hard I've been like restraining myself the entire past couple of weeks.
Let's just debate whether or not the AI video, like, which one actually sounds like the person.
Yeah, which one was your favorite?
We all give our favorite AI video. Which was the favorite one?
In terms of how well it was made or how crazy it was?
Just the craziest, the funniest one.
Probably the Cavill one's made the best for some weird reason.
Because he's
like,
British, right?
And then they took a big L. The Ray Fisher one's like almost like.
Is
like,
the Cavill one made the best because he acts like he's AI in real life? In the movies?
The Amber Heard one is the best one.
The only reason the Cavill one is good is because he himself.
Listen. It's over. All right.
You're so mean.
The best.
It was just a joke. I obviously like him as an actor, and I would want him to be back as Superman.
The three best ones are the Jared Leto one because
he has a beard in it.
There's a bearded Jared Leto talking about like madness and some crazy.
He's a muzzy, bro. What are you saying?
And then
what's wrong? What's wrong? Man?
The Zack Snyder one, and then the James Gunn one. He's like, oh yeah, it's already happening. Like, what are you doing?
He had a raccoon on.
Like legally, isn't there like a legal thing against that?
That could be for the two of them, just for the last two.
Here's the thing. Watching those videos got me excited for James Gunn.
Some the reboot is good. I literally said the opposite effect. I mean, that's the word where I was like, let's go.
Like I was almost happy about every decision that James Gunn made because of those videos. You know, I was happy that.
I'm telling you, no. Listen, I don't know if Zach agree with it. I think that account's an op. That account's an op. I'm telling you, they're not real. Like,
what you mean it's an op?
No, that's true. Yeah.
It's
all set up. Yeah, it's all set up.
It feels weird, right? I feel like it's like a
actual Snyder fans wouldn't be this crazy.
You're coping now.
No, I'm not coping.
Snyder felt I've been unhinged from the beginning, bro. This guy forgot all the unhinged things they've been doing, bro.
Yeah, but that one,
this is right up the alley, bro.
I don't think it's real, bro. I think the ops made it, bro.
Remember that one picture where they put everyone's head on that one picture, bro? You remember that?
That person was also talking about the one, the beheading, the Wonder Woman holding 3 beheaded WB executives.
Was that the one? I don't know.
Yeah, that one they confirmed it was like a crazy fan who was not even a Snyder fan who did it for fun.
There's no way. They're all Snyder fans, bro. They're all ops.
They're not real Snyder fans. They're not doing that, bro. I'm telling you.
Are you real Snyder fan?
Yeah.
Just enjoy that we've got those 3 amazing films. They exist. They are totally valid. They are canon in their own universe or whatever. If you love it that much, just go buy the Blu-rays, go buy whatever. I mean, I'm telling you to buy them because you never know which platform takes it off or whatever. But like, have the physical media. Enjoy Man of Steel, enjoy BVS, enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League, make your own head canons, and just move on. It's really, really
but now we'll never get to see Superman raise Batman's kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
glad we dodged that bullet. But I'm sorry, but it's getting really, really unhealthy. Like the obsession levels that people are having is absolutely unhealthy. Oh my God! If they do that for us, we might sue. We might just sue.
Crazy? I'll put it on the channel.
That's free marketing. That's free publicity.
Do it for us.
We're gonna end on this one.
Start with Smear, bro.
We want to get off this and wrap it up as well. Last one, Alex saying that why the Snyderverse can't actually be sold to Netflix. Like, I know it ain't happening, but why do you think it won't? All right, so logistically, here's how it works. IPs the people keep calling the Snyderverse an IP, and IP is an intellectual property. By definition, the Snyderverse is not an intellectual property. The intellectual property is the characters being used. So Superman is one, Batman is one, Flash is one, etc. Right? So for the Snyderverse to go to Netflix, it can't even still has to be licensed, but it can't be licensed as a brand. It has to be licensed individually, which means Netflix has to pay WB individually for every single character, minor or not, that appears on any other platform. And in live action, it doubles the cost because you're talking about the contracts for the actors, you're talking about buying people out, you're talking about non-compete clause. Like, for example, Gal Gadot has a non-compete clause where she is Wonder Woman for the DCEU, but also she cannot also be Wonder Woman for a different studio. So it causes a logistical nightmare to do it. That's the main way. Number two is like there's no interest. Like they don't want to make Justice League 2.
And also because Netflix doesn't want to be paying them out because they lost the rights for Marvel in terms of Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all of those. Even though they paid it, they got the rights for them to do the shows because Marvel back then weren't interested.
No.
So why would they go back into a venture that means that they could lose content that they have funded?
Yeah, and for them, it's not a business decision that makes wise. Like you're not gonna make your money back. Netflix doesn't make $200 million movies anyways. They're gonna make it and then release on streaming. It doesn't really work. But the logistic thing is that the Snyderverse is not an IP, therefore they cannot license an IP. They have to individually do it. Which there's no reason for James Gunn, who's building a new universe, to have a Superman competing with a different Superman from a different company. You want all in house, So either way.
And also, the studio that would want to do this is either Universal.
No one's gonna want to do it. Not even Universal.
Or Prime.
No.
Because they have the budget. They have the billions.
What the fans are misunderstanding, just because they have the money to buy DC, they're not going back to a 2016 universe. Sorry, it's not happening. Like they would just reboot it again.
Yeah, each one will reboot the way they want to.
The short of it is that there's no studio, no matter who buys it, before it becomes #sell ZSJL to Universal. No matter who buys it, it's never happening.
Oh yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah, like it's just not happening. There's no reality where that universe comes back. No reality. Sorry. Either way, so what do you guys think about the Flash?
That's a good place to end it.
No disclaimer. Just start moving on to Rebel Moon and other things if you're a Snyder fan.
And we're telling you that Rebel Moon is something that you should absolutely be interested in because it's a wonderful universe that is being worked on, right? So here's how you support Zack Snyder: Rebel Moon. There's other things that he's working on.
Either way, I will see.
And stuff like that.
It's whatever.
Because they're gonna kill us.
Who cares? Watch the Shazam. That's what you're waiting for. All right.
Don't watch it. Don't watch that.
What do you guys think about the Flash trailer? What do you think about?
We don't think.
Wasp, Quantumania. Let us know in the comments below and join the debate.
It never works out.
Yeah. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, from Samir, and from Fatima. We're the Farooqi family, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.